Hey guys, and welcome today on APBL Theory. We're going to be talking about a load sheet. This is a bit of a special load sheet. It's not quite your Cessna or Piper load sheet. It is a load sheet for a 737-800 with winglets. And I'm going to fill it out with you as requested. The top line here is a very simple line. We have the aircraft registration. I'm just going to fill this out as quickly as I can. Flight number, 123. Station, this would be the departing station. Let's say, I don't know, Birmingham. Destination, wherever we're going, let's say Madrid, why not? Crew. Here we would identify how many crew are in the aircraft. The normal would be 2-4, referring to 2 flight crew, 4 cabin crew. You could also have 3-4, even up to kind of 3-6 if there's training crew, etc. And the date, 3rd of the 3rd, 18. So that is the top line. Next, in this first sort of top section here, we have all the operational weights. APS weight stands for, let me think about this one, aircraft prepared for service. It's essentially a dry operating weight. It includes the crew and the catering in that. Over here we also have zero fuel weight, takeoff and landing, and these are maximum weights as indicated here. Where can I find all these weights? Well, they're in the fleet weight schedule. On the fleet weight schedule, you can search all the aircraft in the company and see what the maximum weights are for those aircraft. For my aircraft AB123, my APS weight, let's say, is going to be 421656. 421656. I'm doing a real example of an aircraft here. I can also check out my zero fuel weight, my maximum zero fuel weight and my maximum landing weight from the same sheet of paper. In this case, the max zero fuel weight is 61688. 61688. Maximum landing weight is 65317. We don't know the maximum takeoff weight really yet because the takeoff weights for aircraft can vary. The reason maximum takeoff weights vary is because airports charge depending on the maximum takeoff weight of the aircraft. So even though it's exactly the same aircraft, we actually change the plaques inside the aircraft and bring them down as much as possible to save on airport taxis. Brings cheaper prices to the customers, etc. For most of our aircraft, we can change up to 3 weights for the aircraft. I'm going to call it 3, so it's going to be the 66.9, 69.9 or 74.9, and that's tons, so that's your maximum takeoff ton. And that will depend, once you've calculated the operating weight and you figure out how many customers are going to be, you can kind of get an idea of what your maximum takeoff is going to be. Once you know that, you select the lowest one or the most restrictive of these 3 to continue with the operation. So let's go through that. If we had extra crew, observers, flight attendants, etc., they would get added into here and also added over there. All these as well are corrected weights. You see the little decimal point there? These weights are already pre-corrected for us. I'll show you how to correct the weight in a minute. It's quite easy from the back of a load sheet. We can conclude that the dry operating weight for the aircraft is 421656 because we've not added any extra crew or anything in there. The takeoff fuel, let's say for this flight we've calculated we want to take 9.7 tons. So that would be 9,700 in there. We take away some taxi fuel at Birmingham. Let's say 190 kilos for taxi. So 9700 minus 190, that gives us 9,510. 9,510. Yeah, I'm going to not put the 10 in quite yet. I've started that in the wrong place anyway. Disregard that. 9,000 would be there. 510. Now I'm not going to put the 10 in there just yet because 9,510 decimal something. Now if I go to the underside of a load sheet, and I've got one here pre-prepared, you can see I have fuel and adjusted weight. I hope you can see that. So you can see I've got fuel, adjusted weights, weight and index. So I've calculated that my fuel was going to be 9,510, so that's in this range here. So it says my adjustment index is going to be 9.7. So I replace that 10 for a 9.7. So that would be, instead of 10 here, I'm going to write 097. So for my operating weight, I can now add my dry operating plus the takeoff fuel is going to give me my operating weight. And that is going to be, I don't think I need a calculator for that, 357,615. There we go. 51.7 tons rounded up is going to be my operating weight. From that figure there, 9,510, can also come over here. You can see there's no decimal point here, so these aren't corrected fuel figures yet. So I can type in the fuel that we had, which was 9,510. and get an allowed weight for takeoff. I can sum those up. It's going to be 71198. So now is when we would start to look at how many passengers we have on board. Make up some numbers here. Let's say we were taking a kind of fullish plane, maybe 180, 3 child, so give me a total of 184. So I've got adults, children, and passengers. And you can see they are distributed in the forward, mid, and aft sections of the aircraft. That's essentially rows 1 to 10, that's the back 10 rows, and that's anything in between. So let's say we have, see if I add these up right. Big chunk in the middle, how much does that left over? 18. Okay, if I've got 26 people in the front rows, how can I figure out how much weight that's going to affect? And remember, this is already corrected. So again, I come to the back of my load sheet. And on the back of my load sheet, we have forward cabin, mid cabin, aft cabin, etc. And as you can see, I've circled already this number here, because I've gone 0, 10, 20, and then the number along here. So we had 26, so that would be the bottom line, and the 6 gives me 21814. So I pop that in here, 21814. For 130 passengers in the mid, let's look this up, 109202. And in the aft, 18 packs, I've just realised it's not right, it would be 28 packs to make up that 184. That would be 23487. 23487. All that information is literally just on the back of here. I'm just using another one for simplicity's sake so I can look it up instead of having to turn this paper all the time. Now I can move on to the cargo. This would be the number of bags in each hold. You see we have hold 1, hold 2, hold 3 and hold 4. We can also carry cargo in some of these holds sometimes. Add in however many bags are in each hold. We normally just use the forward aircraft, the forward hold. Hold 2 is the most popular because the weight and balance keeps everything nice and centered. Now in this case, let's put a few in the front, a few in the back there, and let's say no cargo today. We have a total here of 4 and 36. From the back of the load sheet, you can see forward hold, rear hold, third hold, etc. We have a designated corrected weight for each bag, and it's already corrected. So let's say hold 1 was 4, so I've circled that there. You can see I get 50.0, 36 bags here, 470.2. So I'll pop that in. So that's going to be 50.0, and the other one was going to be 470.2. Hold 3 and 4, nothing in there. FGB, that means free gate bags. This is any kind of bag that maybe doesn't fit in the cabin, so that would then get taken down and added into there. Well, let's actually say we had a few free gate bags in there, because they would be in hold 2, so that'd be a 0.2 there, just for a little correction of a few free gate bags. We just tally all these up. Bear with me a second while I do this. Maths are terrible today. You get used to adding up lots of numbers very fast in your head. Now you can of course use a calculator. Child adjustment. We said we had 3 children. Children don't weigh as much as adults. So again, on the back of the load sheet, we have a child adjustment. As you can see here, child adjustment. So I've got 3 children, gives me 140.0. Sorry about the focus, guys. It doesn't seem to like to focus on that very much. That gives me a total load. So we're getting closer now. So that's going to be 701,733 851. Yeah, because of course we subtract the child adjustment. They weigh less, they don't weigh more, so we're subtracting that. Now we know the dry operating weight because we calculated that before from up here, so we can add that in. 421,656. That was from up here. From we get that from the fleet weight schedule, and that's going to give us finally our zero fuel weight, our actual zero fuel weight, taking into account the passengers now. So let me just tally this up. Give me 369,975. Okay, 365. Yeah. Last minute change. This is if we have to take people off on luggage, etc. I'm not going to do any last minute changes today, but we would add them into there. And then recalculate the zero fuel weight again. I'm not going to do any last minute changes today. There. The takeoff fuel, we also know this figure because this is something we give to the dispatchers when they do the calculations here. Now this is, of course, it has a decimal point, so it's going to be corrected. So it's going to be this one up here, 9509.7. 9509.7. And that will give us our takeoff weight if we add them together. It's going to be 0, 6, take 1, and 6. Okay, so now I have my takeoff weight. 67.5 tons is my takeoff weight, so I can now come in here and decide what my maximum takeoff weight is going to be. So from my fleet schedule, I know I have 66 tons, 69 or 75 essentially, so I'm going to choose the 69 ton, which is going to, because I can't choose the 66 because that wouldn't it's less than the actual takeoff weight. So I choose the lowest one but above that, so it's going to be 69.990 in this case. Now my trip fuel I also know from my flight plan. If you see my video on the flight plan, you'll get that there. So in this case my trip fuel is going to be 62, I've calculated. This is not for takeoff, so it doesn't need to be corrected. That'll just give me a landing weight, which is going to be, if I subtract that, there. So there's my landing weight. That's what my landing weight is going to be. My trip fuel, 62 tons or 6.2 tons. I can pop in here, 62, and get. I now have what my landing weight is going to be, or maximum landing weight could be, maximum zero fuel, or maximum, these are allowed, of course, these are the actual maximums from the fleet weight schedule, and this would be the maximum permissible for our flight today. The most restrictive one is my takeoff weight. These I can now essentially score out because I'm not going to use them. I can pop in my operating weight now that I know which one I'm going to use to calculate my allowed traffic load. My operating weight, what was it, 51675. That was coming from here. I subtract that, I'm going to get 51381. So of course, if I take away my operating weight from my allowed weight, it's going to give me my maximum traffic load. So this is the maximum amount of traffic I can take, maximum amount of passengers, cargo, etc. Now on the right here, I have to double check that I'm within limits for the aircraft still. So you can see here I've got zero fuel, weight and balance limits. So I can check my zero fuel weight is 57.996. Where does that fit in? Well, I've got 57.999, so it fits in just in that one there. Just. So I can see there, that is my limit for the stab trim. 4.6, sorry, to 6.6. The zero fuel weight, 6.3, that would be the trim. You can also see that is within limits there. Sorry, my camera stopped working, so that's why these have just suddenly appeared to be circled round. So the next part is the takeoff weight. It's going to be 67506, and we find where that would fit in. So that would be between 66.9 and 68.9. And that will give us a stab of 4.2 to 6.5. This is what it should be. Let's check the stab trim. Where do we take the stab trim? Uncorrected stab trim, that would go here. So how do we get that figure there? Well, that is from the takeoff weight. You can see that just slots into there. So that's going to be 60. Now we need to correct that. So to correct 6.0 to the actual stab trim, it will depend on a few things that we have up here. You can see there stab trim adjustment. So it depends on engine thrust and the flap setting that we use. So let's say we're going to use flap 5 and 22k engine rating. We're going to have to add plus 0.5 to the stab trim. So that can come over and go to here, 6.5. 6.5. Double check it over here. It's on the max limit there, but that's no problem. It's within range. But now we can start filling in a few bits and bobs here. Now this we just use for our takeoff performance calculations, which I'm not going to do really in this video. But that is essentially the load sheet done. Of course, Captain would print and sign here, but that is essentially how we do the mass and balance sheet for the 737. And essentially what we're looking for is the stab trim. Then we pop in, of course, our takeoff flap setting there. Total people on board, that would be 181. and this would be 184. Sorry, this would be 192. Or 181, sorry. 192, because this would be the total passengers plus the crew. Any infants on board. Now go around. This would be when we do our performance calculations. I'm just going to randomly write some numbers in here. So let's say go around would be 26k. So that would be the full bangs. That'd be pretty something close to 100. Then we would come over here. In this case, let's say we were going to do 22, and this would be 22 reduced. Temperature assumption. Put some random numbers in there, 1, then assumed 9.5 for example. In fact, while we're here, why don't I just show you how we calculate these figures anyway, or where they come from roughly. This is the Boeing OPT, so an application you can download. Is how we do the performance on board. So you can see there, for example, that's our maximum takeoff weight, 75 tons. Remember, that is not to do with that. This is just for pricing reasons, so that we pay less at the airport. This is our actual maximum takeoff weight for the aircraft. So where were we going from? We said Birmingham. So this is departure, airport Birmingham. Runway, let's say runway 15. We'll take intersection Bravo. Let's just make it a nice day. Wind 105. Outside temperature 12 degrees. QNH 1009. I'm just making these things up. We'll take optimum. You see, this will give us 22, 24 or 26k or wind shear, which is a full beans scenario. Flaps, we're going to take off with flap 5. This would be if the packs are on or off, anti-ice on or off. We're just going to leave it all off for now. Now our takeoff weight, we know, I'll just round up, 0.6 tons, 676. So that's our takeoff weight. So you can see here, I'll click full first of all. It's giving us a few bits of information here. Actually, strike this back. First, let's go to 26k. So 26k full would be 97.8. So that's the figure that would go in here, 97.8. I'll do this right. Then from there, we would go the optimum to see what's best for takeoff. And we're going to get full 22k, as predicted, 91.4, so 91.4. And it's telling us we can assume with 30 degrees, it's going to give us 91.1. So that'd be 91.1 there. Call sign, 1, 2, 3, whatever that is. This is just a landing thing we do in flight. And our V speeds, so 142, 143, 148. There is ways to do all these calculations by hand as well, but of course, you can see how fast this makes it. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video on how to do a mass and balance sheet on a 737. It looks like a lot of stuff, but once you've done it a few times, it's very simple. Just adding and subtracting a lot of numbers at once. Like, share, subscribe. All the best. Till next time, guys.